Fusebox.
Okay, this is Fusebox number 153, Bozo Battalion. And you, get back in your clown car and get the hell out of here.
I second that motion. Please to be exiting the area and take your miserable paintball guns and bear mace and whatever other KKK-approved arsenal you may have and beat it from our streets, please. Greetings, friends, and welcome into this, the 153rd edition of Fusebox, unflinchingly entitled Bozo Battalion. I'm your not convinced Mr. Peanut's demise wasn't an inside job host, Mark Rose, and over there, awash in the glow of various Digitalia, is the Lord of Levels himself, Milt Keynes, everybody.
Well, thank you kindly. Look, man, seriously, I just hope as hell these morons just get the hell out of Portland. Stay out.
Well, agreed. And for those not aware, we originate this show from Portland, Oregon, where, as many will know, has been the scene of, at least as we record this now, over 3 months of continuous demonstrations regarding Black Lives Matter and social change in general. And a few days ago, inspired by the orange guy in the White House.
Yeah, inflamed, more like.
Yes, inflamed, if you prefer, by remarks made by that guy, that law and order was simply out of order here. Kind of sent up the big bozo signal, and our city here was visited by these MAGA hat-wearing, quote, patriots, driving semis and pickup trucks, clearly intent on creating chaos and inciting violence here.
Yeah, somebody got shot here a few days ago.
Well, yes, and curiously, the guy that shot the counter-demonstrator was also just shot and killed by police in a very strange set of circumstances that are still, at least at the moment right now, unknown. The guy who was initially shot the previous night was allegedly a member of a pro-Trump supporters group.
I gotta tell you, I was thinking there for a while that guy had been shot by one of his own. Wouldn't that have been a shit show?
You know, what they're saying is that that guy, who was just also shot, was trying to protect a friend of his from being assaulted. And that's when all the fireworks started. They have made multiple arrests here of others involved in the demonstrations, but to my knowledge, firearms were not the main reason for their arrest. Destruction of property and unlawful assembly, something they're calling a riot condition, was the reason.
And I get it. It's not a great situation. Well, here's the thing, though, and I think this is just human nature. Time and time again, things change when you get a violent eruption. I think it'd be great if we could just all sit around some sort of boardroom table and discuss this rationally, and we'll work it all through. Well, that might happen sometime, but not before the shit gets angry and chaotic. It's just the way it is.
Well, you know what? I just hope we don't end up with Little Beirut here as a result, which reminds me that according to our orange leader,
they say that when you walk through the streets of Portland, this is years and years of burning and
It's not the last 90 days. It's been really
No, it's been horrible in the last 90 days. But no, it's been going on for many, many years.
Now look, I don't care what your political leaning or if you want to elect a stalk of broccoli for president. I live here and have for over 20 years now. Portland was not and has not been burning for years. It's a bald-faced lie, another bad, kind of a Florida con kind of bad way of gaslighting again. It's simple. I don't know what it takes to convince the great unwashed out there that the guy's lying through his cheap tan all the time. It's a game with him. And like you mentioned, Mr. Keynes, it's optics. He's wanting to create this illusion of anarchy as some sort of political theater.
You know, another way to look at this unrest is what happens in nature, man. You know, like when an island forms, you got this huge volcanic eruption from under the sea, right? There's smoke, lava, and then some toxic shit in the air, and then it all settles down, and maybe then you get a jungle, or maybe even some kind of paradise even.
Like Altoona. No, I get it. It's a good analogy, by the way.
Well, thank you. You know, I thought I'd bring some class to the show, you know?
Sure glad one of us is. You know, it's been tough going out there, friends. I know our mayor has his hands full dealing with all this social unrest, pandemics, you know.
Yeah, and don't forget the demonstrations have often ended up outside of his apartment downtown, too. So often, in fact, he's talking about relocating.
Yeah. Folks
have been calling for him to resign and shit.
Well, I'm sure he's getting the message. Of course, Orange Guy has to tweet about the mayor's seeming lack of robust solutions to these rather complicated issues.
Well, his plan sure didn't work out, bringing in the Gestapo to restore things.
All that is doing is fanning the flames of unrest. We don't need jet fuel poured on the flames. Seriously. That's not the answer at all.
Well, it's certainly his answer. He wants this chaos for the optics. His core supporters, they just eat it up.
Now, and I know he keeps blaming Democrats or whatever for this mess, but reality check. This is happening on your watch. You're the central figure in all of these issues today. You're the inspiration, if you will.
Yeah, that's kind of what our mayor said the other day. He was pissed, too.
Yeah, he was.
Trump was tweeting at the same time Wheeler was having that press conference about the shooting, and Trump called him a fool.
Yeah, that's real diplomacy at work there.
Oh, hell, he can't even spell diplomacy, let alone know what it is.
Well, I don't know, friends. The unrest is definitely not ceasing, right? And we're gaining rapidly on Election Day. A day I hope will change the characters in this scenario. Because frankly, I don't know what 4 more years of this would actually look like.
Well, I am.
Scented. I like that.
TheFuseboxShow.com.
And speaking of that burning smell, a real upstanding guy is having to face the music as well. Yeah, that's right. Jerry Falwell Jr., son of that pillar of morality and just plain good, clean living guy Jerry Falwell Sr., he of the moral majority fame. Remember them?
Oh, yeah. Same asshat who said 9/11 was caused by gay people. Jerry Jr. really is an upstanding person, all right. He's, in fact, upstanding in the corner, watching his wife get it on with another guy.
Yeah, how about that? So ex-pool cleaner turned property manager Giancarlo Granda says he had an awkward, but somehow not that awkward, fling, or 2 or 9, with Falwell's wife, Becky, over the course of several years.
Years? At what point did the awkward part kick in?
Well, when she insisted he wear the plush banana suit and sing the national anthem, I think. Have to check that, but I think that's what it was. Yeah. But this landmine set off a whole cascade of nasty fallout as well, and old Jerry has had to step down as head of Liberty University as a result.
Yeah. Well, so I guess that setting an example of clean living and moral purity is kind of a suggestion here.
And of course, friends, there's a little orange guy stink on this too. Yes, I know. I can see you rolling your eyes and, oh God, what now? No, listen. You see, back in 2016, Jerry Falwell Jr. was an endorser of Ted Cruz, who actually did his announcement that he was running for president at Liberty University. However, something came up.
Dirty pictures?
Shocking. Yes. Dirty pictures of old Jerry and...
Tammy Faye Baker?
Nope.
Hillary?
Nope.
Bill?
Close.
Holy carp.
No, I'm sorry. I'm flipping all the cards. Dirty pictures of old Jerry and our awkward pool guy, Mr. Granda. That's right. So Jerry was looking for this to go away, and Orange Guy assisted by sending in his fixer, Michael Cohen. You remember him. Orange Guy made him do all the payouts back then, right? To hookers and drug runners for Don Jr., you know. Well, Mikey was able to bury the, quote, racy personal photographs, and then in return, JF Jr. was then quick like a bunny. He starts to endorse Orange Guy at the Iowa caucus and speaking in glowing terms about his religious magnificence.
You know, I think I threw up a little in my mouth right then.
Strange bedfellows, as they say.
Sounds like a new drinking game, too. 6 degrees of Donald Trump.
You'd be hammered in no time. So I know it seems like 100 years ago already, but there was that Category 4 hurricane that hit the southeast coast just a few days back, Lake Charles, Louisiana, to be exact. And it was... as you might expect, a mess.
Yeah, you know, I heard that if that thing had gone like something like 40 miles east, it would have affected 2.5 million people. As it was, it hit that community of about 7,000. At least the major part did.
Yeah, and you can imagine a bunch more impacted by that than just that number, for sure. I was watching a live drive-through of the Lake Charles area done by 2 reporters from the Washington Post. And yeah, it was riveting and a little nostalgic too, in a way, because as many know, I spent about 27 years in Florida. Thank you. Where I have experienced numerous blasts, floods, conmen, a general stinky aftermath, more conmen, but not a Category 4. That was a special deal. You have the weird irony, too, of once you go venturing out there, you got a whole street pretty much flattened, on one side, branches, roofs torn off, the whole Megillah. And at the top of the next street, nothing. Not a branch out of place, nothing. It's crazy.
I gotta say, I wasn't in the F place there. But I did get caught in one in Corpus Christi once.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, the station I was at was trying to do, what radio was made for. Provide folks with accurate info on what the hell was going on and where to go and not die and shit. Well, the water got so high at one point over there that We just had to bail.
Literally.
Well, afterwards, yeah. I mean, it was a mess. And, oh, man, what a smell. Nothing like wet wallboard and mildew in the morning.
Smells like victory.
For the hurricane, yeah.
Well, fortunately, if we can say that, a low fatality count on the last report there, like maybe 20 or so, but even so. On top of all the other madness right now, you got viri and from who knows where, social unrest and at an all-time high, and an economic system that's pretty broken right now. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, let me just digress a minute as well. I do want to formally announce...
You're running for mayor?
Right, sure, right after I do some parasailing in the next hurricane. No, I wanted to mention that the OED, the Oregon Employment Department, did come through finally on the pandemic unemployment assistance thingy that I had applied for. And it only took 5 months.
Cash! Yay!
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, good on you. Must be a relief.
Well, huge, actually. Also, I do, believe me, I do understand the thankless situation that they at the OED have been involved in. I mean, their technical issues, manpower issues, issues. I get it. I didn't have to call either, because I've heard the stories of being on hold for 197 hours and never getting through, or being disconnected in the process, or whatever. I just used the, and this was relatively newly revised, contact form that was designed specifically for PUA recipients, and had it straightened out in about 1 day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So just a note here for historical purposes that that part is at least handled, and I can now officially put the other kidney back in now, which, is a good thing because I was, holding it for... And in breaking bovine news, that's right, in an unusual study out of the University of New South Wales, a 4-year study determined that painting fake eyes on the butts of cattle could be the future for Botswana farmers, with the tactic proving to be a surprisingly effective way to scare off cow-hungry animal assailants. These animals are massive predators, too. Think big cats of Africa, lions, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas. All of these scared by some fake and, well, let's be honest, not that convincing eyes that are drawn on there. Researchers tested out the drawn-on eyes on 14 different herds that had experienced big cat attacks in the past. So to carry it out, scientists divided the cattle into 3 groups. One group had the butt eyes, another was marked with a simple cross, and the last group, sadly, were left alone. As you may have guessed, the majority of the success, of course, was the extra pair of eyes on the behind. It worked so well that over the 4 years, none of the 4-eyed cows were taken at all. What's more, the cows marked with the crosses also somehow tricked the lions with only 4 taken by predators in comparison to 15 of the unmarked cows. The researchers out of the University of New South Wales were inspired by eye spots, which can be seen on various species, from butterflies to birds. Basically, it's the evolutionary phenomenon where species bear patterns that look like eyes, which signal to incoming predators that they are being watched and deter them from attacking. It apparently is not unlike the old Aussie tactic of putting sunglasses on the back of your head to make magpies think you're watching them, so they don't come and peck on your head.
Is that a thing there? I mean, birds pecking at you?
I believe it is an actual thing, Mr. Keynes. I haven't experienced it myself, but I know that magpies can be quite aggressive, especially if you're standing on their can of Foster's. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, apparently, the researchers weren't, at the beginning, very confident that the fake eyes would even work. This is predominantly because the whole eye-spotting mimicry thing had never even occurred in mammals. However, it seems that eye spots do work just as well on mammals. Not only will these findings help save the lives of cows, but they could also save lions in the region, who are often shot by farmers protecting their cattle, an occurrence which currently poses the biggest threat to the species.
Christ, who gets that job? Just paint some eyes on that lion's butt over there, will you, Carl?
Oh, hazard pay has to be enormous, Mr. Keynes. At last, but certainly at the end, is this submission to art imitating life imitating art. Kinda. A statue of First Lady Melania Trump that was set ablaze during recent protests will be exhibited at a Slovenian art gallery, according to reporting from Reuters. The statue was carved out of a tree trunk and is dressed in a blue coat similar to the one Melania Trump wore during the 2016 inauguration. The wooden statue of Trump, who was born in Slovenia, was torched by unknown individuals, particularly in the face area, while displayed near her birthplace on July 4th. Amid nationwide riots and protests in the U.S. that included destroying statues of historical figures. Berlin-based American artist Brad Downey, who commissioned the statue from Slovenian folk artist Alice Zupfek, told Reuters that the burnt piece is symbolic of political tensions.
You think?
Might could be. Brad Downey says, this object, the burnt statue, somehow represents a visual representation of political tensions that are erupting in my country and not only in my country. Downey's purpose for creating the statue was to inspire dialogue on the political situation in the U.S., particularly surrounding the notion that President Donald Trump committed to reducing immigration, despite being married to an immigrant. That's right. Melania Trump was born in Slovenia in 1970 when it was part of communist Yugoslavia and moved to the U.S. in the 1990s. A plastic replica of the wooden statue and mounds used to make a bronze statue of the First Lady is also due to be exhibited in Rosno, near Sevnica, her birthplace, sometime in the future.
Oh, those wacky artists. What'll they think of next?
I don't know. Might be kind of a fun addition to the festivities at Burning Man, you know? Just please add this pre-burned version for your personal safety.
Question is, can you smell that smell?
We can. And it smells like change. Yes, and with that smoldering bit, we'll take off the fake noses and climb into our clown car, weaving and jerking down the road, but not before thanking our contributor to this edition of Fusebox, Erin Lane, and of course, thanks as well to the always searching for a good price on clown shoes, the Deacon of Dials over there, Milt Keynes for technical assistance, and so forth and so on.
True slice, to be sure.
And as always, a thank to you, friends, for once again bravely pushing play on this installment of the show. We do so appreciate that. And also, if you have not otherwise done so, please subscribe to the festivities here, wherever you may have found it, be it Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or the very OnSug itself at onsug.com. We do so appreciate that. I mean it, really. I have been your eating all the right foods in all the wrong ways host, Mark Rose, saying, until our next cartoon.
Fuse.